No, don't cross it out. I crossed it out and then I rewrote it in because I want to watch it.
Justice.
I thought that was mine.
Just to remind me.
As such, viewers will experience buffering. Sorry, everybody, you're probably going to experience some buffering. Let's start a show. That's what I wanted to do last show.
And welcome to Time Spent Poorly's Hanging from the Balcony. This is a podcast about movies, and I am Lewis, the professor, your host. Over here we have Nathan, the producer.
Hello.
Hello, Nathan. And over here we have Kimberly the Hammer.
The Hammer. I got to out of the gates. I got to apologize for last week's episode. In my haste of turning everything back on and haven't been doing this for 5 weeks, you guys got to look at our logo and just listen to us all last week.
That's right.
Sorry.
There's nothing like tuning into YouTube and watching
nothing.
Picture.
Yeah.
Well, you can listen to us on iTunes.
You can listen to us on iTunes.
You can listen to us on.
Sorry.
Can you listen to us on timespentpoorly.com?
You can. And apparently it says that my stream status is bad, and I don't have the heart to start this whole thing over again. So,
what does that mean? That we're buffering?
It will just mean that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, and as such, the viewer will experience buffering. Sorry.
Well, hopefully it records.
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay, welcome to the future. Here we go. We are going to talk about some movies today.
Yeah.
Like 3 movies.
A couple.
Okay, well, Kim and I saw one. Kimberly and I went to one movie.
You went and saw one movies?
We saw one movies. We went to the theater. Okay, like, I've been just shit pissed off by how bad the theater has looked.
It's been a desert of a movie watching time right now. It's been terrible.
Nothing to watch right now.
All the movies that come out. And I don't mind seeing bad movies.
We'll watch bad movies. You guys know that. As longtime viewers of Hanging from the Balcony.
Yeah, you guys know.
You guys know everything.
We'll watch some shit.
We will watch some shit. And I was just, week after week, I'm like, I can't.
We didn't even feel motivated to see the movies that were out. No, we couldn't.
Me and Amy had a disagreement whether we should go see Minions or Vacation. I'm like, we're discussing the bottom of the barrel right now. Sorry, Minions. Well, you looked good, but I've heard you're great. Not great. So
I mean, things are so bad that it's been really a rough thing. Now I understand coming up we have like Black Mass, which Johnny Depp might be okay.
Looks all right.
There's a few things on the horizon, but even when I look ahead, I'm just not super excited.
I'm not excited except for I'm excited for December for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, December's got some stuff. We got Star Wars and shit. That'll be fun.
And a baby.
Yeah.
Is the baby coming in December?
Yes.
Oh, you're almost a dad.
Oh, yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah, December 14th officially.
I remember when you were just a little baby producer, and now you're almost a dad.
All grown up. I know. I'm still sucking at the producer part, but...
Is it a boy or a girl?
It is a lady.
A little lady.
The little name is going to be Eve Louise Betts.
Eve Louise. Louise, of course, is the female version of Lewis.
Yes.
You're naming her after me.
After Lewis,
secretly,
I really want her to be a film buff. I do.
You want her to be a film buff.
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's talk about movies. So Kimberly and I went and saw the latest M. Night Shyamalan written and directed movie.
Oh boy.
The Visit.
Yeah, so honestly, this was kind of exciting because like we said, we've just been looking at a lot of crap trailers and some movies that we were just not even willing to give it the 2 hours. So yeah, we're still on the Shyamalan train.
I exited that a little.
There's
after
stuff
the
that
Village.
People don't give him credit for, and I'm like, he doesn't do shit. And you know what? When you set yourself up and people get really pissed when you give them a twist or when you don't give them a twist and you're mad no matter what because you see the twist coming or you didn't get the twist, then, it's back on you. You
right.
say, screw you. Don't be so mad at this guy who's trying to make movies when he does make some okay stuff.
Sixth Sense was a lot of fun. When it came out, it shook America, me included. Unbreakable was good. I thought Signs was pretty good.
Signs was good. The Village.
I actually enjoyed The Village.
I did too.
A lot of people. It wasn't 100% the best, but it had a
But it's
thing.
not these.
Lady in the Water isn't the worst movie.
It's kind of fantastical.
The
You gotta
Happening
be ready for it.
is really bad unless you realize that it's a comedy, not a horror film. And if you watch it as a comedy, you will have a really good time.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg is
The worst.
hilarious. No, he said, guys, what are we doing?
Oh, he was
constantly-
so
we-
fun.
We were having
yeah,
so much fun, but
we did
it's a
have
comedy.
blast.
Then
We can't even talk about that.
The
one.
Last Airbender,
The Last Airbender
is-
doesn't even count. It
is
doesn't
the
count.
worst.
It's the worst
It's
movie
so bad.
ever. Not just him.
Literally the bottom of the barrel. But then he starts getting better.
He
gets
does.
to After Earth, which is the worst.
No.
But it's not quite as bad as The Last
Jesus,
Airbender.
no. We gotta get out of this. That's like
If The
hard.
Last Airbender is a 0, After Earth is a
0.1.
1. A 0.1.
We're still in the points. Oh dear.
But then we get The Visit.
Yeah, and really what kind of interested me was the trailer. It did such a good job of making me go, ooh, this is low budget, isolated horror film. Like, I was really interested. When the grandma tells the little girl to climb into the oven, I'm like, what?
To clean it. Could you just climb into this oven?
That okay. This is the movie we're talking about.
this
Okay.
is the movie.
Okay.
So
How was it?
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I gotta warn you. You know that one of my personal pet peeves anymore. I hate this type of
Narration.
found footage.
Oh,
Yeah,
found footage.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Found footage is the worst. So this is a found footage film, but I was able to stand it because the two children, the 15-year-old and 11-year-old, the girl says, I'm making a documentary. I'm going to meet my grandparents for the first time, and my brother and I are, and she's an aspiring filmmaker. She says, I'm going to film it and make a documentary about, what it's like to meet grandparents when you're 15.
Yeah.
You've never
Late.
met them yet.
Yeah.
And because her grandparents and her mother have been estranged, and they've had all these.
For 20 years.
And the mother still can't get over it. She's like, I won't go with you because I just can't see them
Yeah.
after things that happened. She won't tell us what happened, but things happened.
And you never find out.
You do find out.
Okay.
But not in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's found footage, but there's a reason
So
for it.
each
At least, yeah. At least there's a reason.
Like they're
for it.
like, I'm filming. They'll even say things to the grandparents, like, could you do an interview, and they'll talk to them, or they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get this shot. Can you move over here so I get the shot better? Stuff like
Cool.
you're very aware that the camera is part of the process.
Gotcha.
So it was okay.
Yeah, so because they included it, because
And it
there's a lot of found footage that are just like, oh, look what we found, and there's
And it
never
was-
any
yeah.
reason for it. It never makes sense.
It also wasn't terrible in the sense that it wasn't shaky and make you sick
Right.
and awkward. It was actually quite smooth.
What was the worst one that we've talked about on the too shaky subject that we talked about just this year? You said that was the
remember.
worst that you'd seen. I already forgot what it was
you watched
too.
it by yourself.
Was
Gosh,
that-
I forgot what it
It was
was.
the
Logan?
first time.
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh,
Yes.
jeez, that
Yeah.
movie eats a
I
dick.
didn't see that.
But this one does okay with the found footage. I was
Yeah.
able to stomach. I mean, it's not my favorite still.
Yeah.
But I was able to stomach it.
Sure. Yeah, me
And
too.
and
me
because
too.
it was kind of part of the plot, like they actually go back and watch footage that they filmed and discuss the footage, and they're like, "Well, what's Grandma doing here? I mean, look at her. You can see she's doing this weird thing or whatever." So these kids go, they visit their grandparents. Their grandparents are getting old.
Okay.
They're starting to lose it. They're kind of
Yeah, and
having some
it
problems.
starts the first night, so we actually start seeing some of this like deterioration. We see these really strange things that they're doing. I think the first of which was whenever they open the door and they see their grandma stark naked, like scratching on the wall or something.
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
Which is in the preview.
Yeah,
in the
it is,
trailer.
it
Yeah.
is.
But she's more clearly naked in the movie. Like
Yeah.
they darken
I mean,
her
it's
butt
just her.
crack.
It's her back. It's her
It's
back.
her back.
Okay.
But that's weird, right? You don't want to hear scratchings in the hallway at 10:30 at night, and
And then
open your
see
door
your
and see your
naked grandma.
yeah with her wild
Like
wild
a
hair.
cat scratching.
Yeah.
Weird.
And she actually there's also
Oh,
the
there's
scene
a great sequence
where-
under the house.
no, but there's a scene
Oh, okay,
earlier where
sorry.
the daughter walks over to the stairs and she hears her grandmother moving around downstairs, and the grandma walks by, doesn't look up and see her. She's just walking across the stairs, And as she's walking across, she just pukes. Just as she's walking, she just goes,
Projectile vomit.
and she just keeps walking, and you're like,
Ah.
like it's so. This is where the horror of this
Kind of
film
starts a little bit.
It's
Yeah.
in the uneasy moments, and the
Because
grandpa
they kind
explains.
of hide out in their rooms.
Right, he explains you probably should stay in your room once it gets
Yeah, after
like
night.
after about 9:30.
Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Because
Yeah.
your grandma has a disease, which apparently is a real thing called sundowners disease. And when the sun goes down, something clicks in their brain and they start to behave very weird.
Oh, weird. Can
Yeah.
you imagine dealing with that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
It's really strange. So it's just uneasy and
Yeah.
weird.
Just a lot of uneasy
Shocking.
creepiness, which works for me. Uneasy creep
Yeah.
is
Yes.
so much more effective than
Then slashing people to death. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
like
So-
just monsters that you can see. And
No, there were some really unique moments, like fresh moments, some really great scary moments.
Mhm.
And the kids are great. The youngest one specifically, he's young, like 10 or something.
he does a good job. I can't
12?
stand his raps, but
Well, he had some raps.
that's an 11-year-old rapper. What do
Yeah.
you expect?
But the one thing that we
I mean,
did
it's
talk
real.
about is that, you've got to hand it to Shyamalan. We can't talk about The Last Airbender ever. That's
No.
like not even a movie.
Unmentionable.
He
Yeah,
directs children very well.
yeah.
There's
That
such
that
a-
Signs
there's
girl, she
something-
did great.
He's
Signs was
he's
so
like the
good.
Kid
Sixth
Whisperer
Sense.
or something. He really just draws out the best in them, and
Yeah.
because they're pretty much the stars of the show. There are 5 people in the movie.
Yeah.
Kids are usually the stars of his shows for a couple of his movies. They're
Yeah.
pretty much the star of.
Yeah.
He likes kids.
Pretty much the star of Signs, pretty much, or not entirely, but she had a pretty big part in Signs, and there's big influence of the children in the village, and
Mhm.
yeah, he uses children a lot.
Yeah. So it was good.
So I think, I liked it too. I actually give it 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Here's my thinking. I think that Sixth Sense was maybe better received than it maybe should have been, and everyone was
Set
like,
him up for failure
he's
almost.
the new, his
Fill in the
first
blank.
movie's the new wonder child of the world, Wunderkind, and so suddenly he's getting these big budget movies made, and his idea, how, like if a rock and roll band puts out their first album, if they've been playing for 10 years and then they finally sign with some record company and they put out their first album, their first album is the best songs of the last 10 years.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Then they go to their second one, and you always have the
You have a
sophomore
year
slump
to
because they
make
have
your-
1
All
year
on
to
your
make-
face. Yep.
Yeah, and they just don't have the 10 years of practice to get,
That
develop those next songs.
That next thing.
And
yeah.
so I feel like that's what happened with Shyamalan, is that he's just not. He's not the big movie. He shouldn't be making blockbusters.
Right.
A small film.
His blockbusters are all terrible.
They're terrible, but his
Yeah.
big film or small
Small
film was
films.
good.
Yeah.
Now, would you consider The Sixth Sense, because of how wildly it went, a big blockbuster?
No.
Not that it was,
It was
shot
a-
like
it
one,
was
but
a
intended
small.
to be.
Yeah,
Right.
it was intended to be
Yeah.
a smaller film.
and it turned into what
So
it turned
its
into.
reception
Yeah.
is different from what it was intended to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. Do you know what drove that at the time? Was it
I
the
don't think
preview?
we'd
Was
seen
it?
anything
Yeah,
like that.
I think
and
it.
because it had big actors,
Yep.
it really caught attention.
I think
and
so,
with
too.
this film, the only recognizable actor was the mom, in as far as I know.
Yeah, and
She's
she's
in
not
it.
super.
And she's
right?
not
You'll
that
be like,
famous.
I've seen her on TV. Or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always trying to.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out how like little phenomena like that
Yeah.
work out and
Yeah.
why they happen, how they happen, what was the right thing, right time type of thing. What was it that did it?
Well, and I think that he has a really good sense of what is creepy,
Yeah.
and I think he showed that in Sixth Sense.
Yes. See, that's the thing. Creep us out. Don't freak us out. There's a difference.
Yeah. I think Creep really works because Creep is one of those things you can talk about the visit later. And like I mentioned, the vomiting scene. And as soon as I mention it, Kim's like, oh, yeah. And you
I
just kind of feel it
Yeah.
again.
You said
know?
there was something that happened good in the basement.
Under the
Right,
house.
Under
Yeah.
the house. That
There's
was
like
very
the
creepy.
house is supported by these concrete pillars,
Okay.
and so there's about 2 or 3 feet under
Mhm.
the house where
Mhm.
there's just this maze.
Just a space.
Crawl space.
Crawl space, but there's concrete pillars every like 3 feet
Yeah.
in this grid. Whew, man,
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty intense. It's really creepy.
I've
There's a lot of
already-
creepy
It
moments.
was really cool.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
problem with tight spaces as it is anyway.
It was
Yeah.
a little claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little scary.
So this is one that I would, if there's nothing else in your theater and you want to see a movie, then for sure see it.
Yeah.
But if you want to wait till it comes to Netflix, great, but watch
but you
it.
should rent it. It's,
You know,
it's
okay.
worth
watch
your
it.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. Yeah. Now that you said I saw that go. I don't know how I disconnected from this, and because I've seen it, but I was going through the list of things that we could watch, and it was down to Vacation and Minions because I went through it, and I guess I didn't hover over it long enough to find out what it was. I just read
Right.
Visit, blah 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 blah. I was like, none of this looks good except for these two. So if I'd have known, I should have paid attention a little better.
It just came last week.
Okay.
Though,
Yeah, just very recently.
So.
Oh,
We
it hasn't been there a little while.
No,
Okay.
we actually went the opening Friday at the 4:30,
Mhm.
and our theater was not packed, but it was full for the very
For a
first
4:30,
viewing.
yeah.
It made $25 million its first weekend. It cost $5 million to
I
make.
could probably tell you about it.
So Shyamalan's like, finally got my first movie
Yeah.
in the black in a
No
while.
kidding, yeah. It is also at a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, so
Yeah, okay.
not bad.
I'd say it probably deserves more like an 80%. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not perfect, and
Yeah.
it's got some moments that are a little slow.
It's probably
or-
skewed down just because of who
Well,
directed it, maybe.
a lot of I've heard a few people make comments about, but okay, those top 4 movies on Rotten Tomatoes and the top box office.
Yes,
Notice how the 3 of the 4 are green,
yes,
meaning they're shitty.
yes.
Those are the movies that are 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the box office right now, and the only one that's even okay at all is The Visit.
War Room is at 38%. That makes me makes me laugh so much.
Apparently, the movie we should have all seen is Straight Outta Compton, but for some reason, I'm just not into rap.
I really, really want to see that, and I have no desire to go pay to see it. I
Yeah.
really want to see it. If we still had a dollar theater, I would go see the
Like
shit out of
$1.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't go. I can't even make myself go see it at a matinee price. I really want to see it
Valid.
though.
Very much so. All right, good. Well, The Visit's all right. What did you see, Nathan?
I sat down and watched the Matrix trilogy over again.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3. All right,
1,
in a
2,
row?
3, one night. So
All right.
yeah,
Now, I've seen one recently,
Mhm.
like within the last 5 months,
Okay.
maybe. 2 and 3, it's been since I saw them in the theaters.
What was-
how did it?
what
tell me
was
your thoughts.
what was your initial thought of 2 and 3 when you saw them? Because those were Matrix huge success, and then Bam Bam filmed back to back, released a year apart, like the Hobbit, right?
Mhm.
I think was that the very first time we ever experienced that as moviegoers.
It might be, and I think they may have even been released like 6 months ago.
I think
It
they
was-
weren't very. I think
it
it
was
was
very close.
when you because I was having a hard time figuring it out because I was looking at the back of both of the sequels, and they're both copyrighted the same year. I was like, how in the fuck did did one come out in like February and one came out in like November or
I think
something like
that's
that?
actually what
I think
happened.
that is what happened if I remember
That's my
correctly.
memory,
Yes,
yeah.
When were the last two?
2004, 2004, 2003. I
That's
don't
like-
remember.
that's
Well, The
like-
Matrix was 1999.
Yes, Matrix, and then the other two were filmed back to back 3 years later. So I want to say it was like 2002, 2003, 2004,
Did
maybe.
everyone know when the first one came out that it was intended to be a trilogy? Or was that kind of a
I
surprise?
think that was a surprise based off of the success of the first
I think
one.
it was a surprise to the filmmakers.
I think it was
in
too.
a weird way.
I think it was too.
It should have just been The Matrix.
Well,
Yes,
Period.
The Matrix has a very clear ending.
yes, and
Like, it
yeah,
I
feels
thought so.
very resolved.
Yeah.
And it actually resolves in the way that you kind of have a problem with 2 and 3 in that, like, my memory at least, The Matrix ends and Keanu Reeves becomes Superman.
yes, he flies off. Yes,
He can reprogram the Matrix so that he can do anything, including fly. But he's like, basically, I know I'm in a computer and I can manipulate it with my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Matrix 2 comes along, and there's that big fight on the freeway,
Yep.
which Neo could solve in 5 seconds.
Yep.
And so their solution is to have him be on the other side of the planet and have to fly around the planet.
Yes.
And so the whole fight, he's like, and
Yep.
I remember sitting in the audience going,
Dumb. Yeah.
well, they made him too powerful, and now they're basically like, well, what do we do? How do we have a
Oh,
story?
make him really, really far away. Well, he was stuck in purgatory for the first 20 minutes or whatever. He wasn't dead. He wasn't awake. He wasn't anything. He was just out in the train station, and he would run off and then show back up. He's like, oh shit. he literally goes like, whoa. I'm like, hey, it's Keanu Reeves. But
acting.
It's acting.
The Matrix, 1999. So we're not quite 20 years away from it, but we're
close.
16 years away from it.
Yeah.
Matrix, first one, this far away from it, still fucking awesome.
It is. It's good.
Still fucking so good. There's only one part that I like to make fun of is when he gets pushed down into the towards the end. The climax is starting to take off, and they're in the subway train. Right. They fight on the platform, and he falls down into the tracks. The train's coming at him, and he says, "See that, Mr. Anderson? That's your fate," blah, blah, blah. Right. He jumps up, smashes him against the ceiling, comes back down, and does a backflip to get out of the way just in time. As he's doing the backflip, you can see him grab wires and see wires in his hands as he's doing the backflip.
Oh, really?
Yes. Every time I see that now, I'm like, you fuckers, fuck that up.
Oh, I have not noticed that. But
yeah,
now I will
you can see him you can see him do the giant hop upwards, and that happens really quickly. And then as he's starting to go backwards, you see him just as instinct. You just see him go grab, hold, and you just kind of see him ride the whole backflip with his things right in his arms. It's really kind of fascinating.
That has one of my favorite punches. That fight has one of my favorite punches of all time. Keanu Reeves goes, and then he stops short of his throat, and then he goes.
Oh, and it literally lasts like a second, but I'm like, that's so cool! Yeah, I love it.
It's the funniest thing. And Smith goes.
Yeah, he literally. Yeah. So that movie still holds up, and
it's cool.
2 and 3 suck the biggest donkey dick in the world. Yeah. God, they suck. Especially the fucking resolution of 3. That's what we got to look forward to. He was a fucking martyr the whole time. Good job, you guys, you idiots.
And then they imply that this is just a cycle that's been going on, and that there's matrices within matrices.
They imply that he's either the 6th or the 8th version of Neo at some point. I don't remember which.
That doesn't work.
No.
So there was a solution at the end of 2, and when I walked out of 2, I thought, oh, this is what they're going to do, and that's awesome.
And then they didn't do it.
They didn't do it at all. At the end of 2, he's not in the Matrix. And the monster bugs, the robot bugs are coming right at him. And he goes, no. And they lose their energy and fall.
Yes.
And they're like, he doesn't even have to be in the Matrix anymore. And so I went home thinking, of course, the awesome solution is that he's not just learned how to manipulate the Matrix with his mind, but he's actually realized that reality itself is a form of
manipulation.
It's just all mind power. And so he then takes his powers into the real world and uses them to solve this. They're just like, no, it's all matrices all the way down. It's just like 40 matrices in a row. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, so 87% on Rotten Tomatoes for The Matrix, 36% for Revolutions, and then, which is the conclusion, Revolutions got 36. So The Matrix Reloaded actually got 73%, and I don't know how or why. Because there's so much confusion going on. They actually go down to Zion, and basically Zion's just a big fucking rave party and politicians
Which is the
fighting.
Worst. I hate when filmmakers are like, how do we show
excitement?
Party?
Let's just show a bunch of
rave.
It's just a rave, and they're just moving to music.
And Tommy would love this portion that we're talking about. This is for you, Tommy. That might have been the origination of slow-mo fucking party scene, because that's what happens for about 5 fucking minutes.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah. Just slow-mo pan across the party scene. I'm like, so we get to look forward to a huge pit near the center of the earth, and we're going to party like it's 1999.
You know what's funny is that whole kind of party image, if I could just party every night, that's never appealed to me. Like the 2 or 3 times I've gone to a club where people are dancing. And
you're like, can we leave yet?
Yeah, I can't fucking talk to anyone. Dancing isn't really a thing I do anyway. People like to dance. I'm not a dancer.
Sure.
But when I've tried, I just go out and stand out there and bounce.
Yes.
I just go, hey.
Oh my God, dude.
Okay.
You and I got to go to the club sometime. That would be amazing.
No, it's not fun.
Kim one time we went to a club and
with Kim.
We'd been together for 5 years already, and then
And you're like, I gotta reconsider this whole thing.
We went up to Kansas City, and we were with Peachy, and we're dancing in this club, and this guy came up and danced on my butt, and Lewis just stood there and let him do it, and I'm like, Lewis, you're supposed to be behind me so other guys don't come up behind me.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
You
And
kind
You
of got to
were the
watch the back
worst.
door.
And I was
yeah.
like
You
this.
were
I was
the
like,
worst wingman.
it's too hot. I
Yeah.
can't be up against your ass
He
because
came dancing
I'm
up behind
sweating.
me, and I'm like,
Ooh, so
guys,
hot.
this is
Just
the worst.
let that guy dance against your
I
butt.
don't need it.
Oh,
Oh.
since when is dancing just like walking up to a strange girl and going, "This is what my boner feels
Yeah.
like"? Is
Feel
that-
this through your pants.
Is that because I remember there was movies about dancing where people would like get into a hold and do dance steps and things, and apparently now
Louis.
it's just like people.
Slapping body parts together.
Yeah, but I can't do that to a stranger.
You don't have to.
Well, I do if I go clubbing,
You
which
That
why
is
I
the
do
best part. That is the best reason
Yeah,
you
you
can go
guys go
simulate
have
sex
fun.
with your.
go have fun with
Strangers,
your strange
yeah.
women. Go walk up behind some strange
I
girl
wouldn't
with your
have fun.
boner.
I wouldn't have
Have
fun.
fun.
The second I went up and like prodded some stranger,
Rod
and she looks back at me like,
What?
"Who are you? Why would you?" And I'd be like, "Why would I ever touch a stranger? Like, you're not allowed to touch people like that
Yeah.
without permission." And
And then you just
apparent-
walk right up to him, and yeah, it is kind of weird.
It's
That
weird. I don't
happened.
get it.
So did you realize that in 2001, since they weren't anywhere near getting 2 and 3 out, that they did a one called Matrix Revisited, where they just
It's-
showed how they did
Yeah, it's
everything,
just
basically.
a documentary
Yeah.
on it. No,
I did not realize that came out.
So
Did you-
Yeah.
No, honestly, I've been a little quiet on this because I don't think I saw 2 and 3, and if I did, they were so unremarkable that I forgot that I'd seen them. And The Matrix, it's just been so long.
I can send the whole trilogy
was
home with you
never-
if you guys want to borrow it.
Well, maybe, but it's kind of like the Star Wars. There are just things that I missed. And, I was an adult when these happened.
Mhm.
I knew they were big. I mean, I just missed certain things. And then if I did see it, it just didn't sink in. And so then I was like, nah.
I will
it's
say
just-
that you missed The Matrix. I will say you did not miss the sequels.
The sequels actually make you
remember-
dislike the Matrix.
I remember
So you gotta
a
be
lot. I
careful.
have all these images, like still frame images from The Matrix, the
Mhm.
original.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember that story. It's kind of like my Star Wars. They're all in one movie.
Were you
And I-
surprised, Nathan, by how long it took the first one to get going?
The first one is a good 40-minute burner before it gets going
It's
anywhere.
45 minutes before he takes the fucking pill.
Yeah, which is when it finally takes off in Act
Really?
2. Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes for Act 1 is so long and boring.
Surprisingly long.
Yeah, they really did a lot of fucking groundwork on that, and that's why that's why 2 and 3 are not necessary. Literally, like they set up the first one so well
Mhm.
that they just convoluted it all and fucked it up.
Yeah, the first one is very much a contained story. So when they're like, it's actually part one of a trilogy, you'll
You'll
when you
go,
watch 2, you'll be like,
bullshit.
yeah,
You
none
came up
of
with
this,
that.
None of this was set up in the first
No,
movie. You've
not
got
a
all these new
chance.
characters you're throwing
Those
out.
fucking
Horrible.
twins that can just do whatever. It's
Makes
the
no
whole
sense.
the whole
Yeah.
thing is retarded. It's dumb. It
unfortunate.
sucks.
Okay, so let's not watch the Matrix trilogy, but you can
Watch
the first
them.
one.
Yes, The Matrix. You could probably watch in another 20 years and it'll still be good.
It does. It holds up. I showed it in class a few semesters back, and I kind of liked it. It was
And-
fun.
Keeping true to form this week with my theme, apparently it was a week to watch either a trilogy or a sequel. I watched Boondock Saints 2. Not sure why. What a waste of time. Good lord, what a piece of shit.
Really? It's got
Fuck
the
you,
same
Troy
actors.
Duffy. It
So what makes it so bad? Because we're not even
The-
necessarily on the boat.
I'm not
with-
on the Boondock
Yeah.
Saint boat like most people
Yeah,
seem to be.
so-
Like
So-
a lot of people love that first movie.
So Willem Dafoe's character is really quirky and cool and interesting, I think, in the first movie, and he's
Yeah.
like the lead guy that's
right.
investigating, and you don't know, you can't really tell if he's going to go against him. Obviously, he's against him when he gets involved, and then all of a sudden you realize he's starting to kind of help them.
Right.
The character that replaced him at the end of that is awful. She's so bad. It's a woman investigator now, and she's got a southern accent, and I think that's what screws it up. I'm not
Oh,
kidding.
just her
Her
accent.
accent throws it all off.
Huh.
Y'all Boondock Saints here.
Yeah, I'll come back now. It's really bad, and it turned the whole thing. I mean, I can spoil it for you if you want. If you're not gonna watch it,
I might watch it.
okay, then I won't.
It looks terrible.
Act 1 and 2 suck balls, and for some reason, I don't know how the resolution is satisfying. I don't know how it works. Act 3 is worth the last 20 minutes is worth watching somehow. But yeah, the rest of it's just bullshit.
Okay.
But the final scene is actually pretty sweet.
Cool.
So
out of-
like a 2-star movie.
2 stars.
Yeah, and the only reason that it even is sitting in my house is because I just wanted to, for the same reason that 2 and 3 of The Matrix is here. I just wanted to complete this series, and for the same reason that Spider-Man 3 is in this house.
Spider-Man
Just wanted to
3.
complete the
There's
set.
a
Yeah.
classic.
So, and apparently we're getting a Boondocks 3 someday, I would imagine.
Fine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know. Boondock Saints 2, don't fucking bother unless you want to see Norman Reedus' ass or his stunt double's ass.
Say no more.
Say no more.
All right. Let's talk quick news real quick.
Lionsgate.
News.
Lionsgate, this is Derek Yon's joke, so I will reference him now that he's not Derek Yon anymore. He used to say that Lionsgate could either make one really good movie for $32 million or 32 shitty $1 million movies. And I think that I'm in agreement with that because I think that's what they do.
Yeah.
We can make this one awesome one, or hey, let's try this one and this one and this one and this one, and now we fucked it all up. All right, well, now we have 32 stinkers instead of one stinker.
Yeah.
Or one good one.
So they're working on a Borderlands film.
Lionsgate is the folks that fuck shit up more often than they don't, but they are working on a Borderlands film if you are interested in the video game Borderlands, which has 2 zombies as I understand it, right? Kind of.
It's a first-person shooter. What's interesting about it, I think they actually freeze into like turn-based shots. It's weird. I can't remember. I played it once.
It's very cartoony. It's kind of the animation
style
is different.
Is what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that if they do it just live action without like cartooning it